Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Talk with Unstoppable Nicole. I hope everything is going well. So, today we are going to talk about single mothers and just the struggle, and then we're going to bring you current. So, today my guest is Rochelle Henderson Clark.
It's Dr. Sweetie.
Oh, let me get it right now. Dr. Rochelle Henderson Clark. And for any of you who do not know, this is my sister. And today we are going to talk to her because she was one of the first single moms that I knew. And a lot of what I did, I watched what happened to her. And I've learned from her. So today we are going to talk about it. So, Dr. Rochelle, can you tell me at what point in your life did you become a single mom?
I was just about to be turned 20. I got pregnant my second year of college.
Okay.
So right before I turned 20, I had my son.
Okay. And so you was in college and you got pregnant. So did you stay in college or what happened next?
I left school because I had him right in September. I had to be a mom. So I had to go to work. I had to take care of him. I couldn't go to school right then. My goal and my dream was always to go back to school, but at that time I couldn't do it. I just had to go to school. I just had to work. I went back to school when he was about 2.
Okay.
That's when I decided, well, it's time. I got to go get this done. I did get my associates first. I finished that up. I had 2 classes up to get to my associates. And then I decided to go to John Jay College in New York to finish up and get my bachelor's degree.
Okay. So I have a quick question for you, just to rewind you back a little bit. At the point you had to stop school, what were some of the things? Did you have a supportive family, or did you have some family members that had negative stuff to say?
Oh, definitely. There were people who were negative. There was one particular family member who told my mom she should put me out because I got pregnant and while I was in college. However, my mother, was very supportive. She was always there for me. She used to watch my son while I went to school. She helped me out as much as she could because she was working at the time as well. But she was very supportive of it. And then his father was involved as well. So it wasn't as though, we just didn't know who he was. His grandparents on his dad's side was also very supportive.
Okay. And you realize you have to have that support system, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people have family members that are gonna talk negative and are not gonna be supportive. And one thing a single mom needs at that point, they need support. They need people to say, okay, it happened. Now let's get through it. Okay, it happened. Let's see what our plan is for you to raise this child and for you to get back in school. So you see, it took her 2 years, but she did get back in school. So this is to anybody that's close, family members, friends. When a woman gets pregnant and it wasn't her all the way plan, because we know if you use protection and if you do preventative and you don't have sex, we understand that part, right? But if you tell me that this whole world, there's people that's never going to have sex before they get married, then I'm going to tell you, stop living in an unreality, okay? Things are going to happen. So that now that you know that things like this happen, you want to make sure you are that right family member or that right friend, because support is so important. And because she had the support of my mother, she eventually could go back to school. So just imagine if she was put out, that 2 years might have turned into 12 or never. So please be a key in supporting your family, especially your family, when things happen. Okay? So after you finish your associates and then you went to school and finished your bachelor's, and then after that, what were some of the struggles you were experiencing between getting your associates and your bachelor's? Because he still was young at that time.
He was very young at that time. So it was more like, I didn't have a life. It was just you working, you going to school, you taking care of your child, and I couldn't do nothing else. It was no other life except for those three things in my life. School was a lot. Just having to be up studying all night, or even if you have a sick child and you're trying to study, or you can't sleep all night, but you got to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So it's a lot. It's a lot to be a single parent, especially when you're trying to go to school. It's a lot.
So what's one of the things, I'm going to ask two of the things because I know what one of the things should be, but what are two of the things that at that time helped you through?
One was definitely just prayer. It was definitely just like
I knew that
praying.
One. I told you that should have been her number one.
Praying, just like help me see me through this. Just asking God for guidance. Because at some days I was like, I didn't think I was gonna make it. I was like, so just asking God for guidance and just following His lead. And He told me to persevere, and I did. And then the next one was just really having people in my corner, people to help me when I needed it. People who, his grandmother would take him for the weekend so I could just get a break and maybe study. Or sometimes I didn't even do anything. I just stayed home and just relaxed for the whole weekend while he was gone, because I didn't have that opportunity to do it any other time.
And I can totally relate. So I'm gonna move back just a little bit. Now, growing up and seeing her and seeing that happen to her, and I seen that it took her 2 years to go back. I myself got pregnant in college, and I was like, I can't stop. My major was nursing, and I got pregnant at the end of my junior year. I had him the end of my junior year. So literally right before finals, I had him. And I chose to have him. I was out 1 week, and that's when everybody was studying for finals. And then I went back to school that next Monday. I had him on Easter Sunday, April 15th, right? And then I went back that next Monday and I took my exams. And let me tell you, I went to HBCU, and I know a lot of people got stuff to say about an HBCU, but let me tell you about Hampton University. When I tell you I brought this 1 week old infant in class in my finals and took my finals, breastfed him while I'm taking my finals, and when I finished, my teacher took him and she burped him and put him back in his car seat, because she saw me. She saw that I was trying. She saw that I didn't want to give up. And with her seeing this, it was like, it's a no-brainer. I'm not gonna be in the way. All my nursing student friends, they all came over my house that whole week that I was home to study, because I will always lead the study groups. And I'm saying this because I knew I didn't have 2 years. I didn't have the full support team like how she had my mother, like right then and there. Because at that time, my mother was taking care of my grandmother. So I knew I wasn't going to have that. So I didn't stop. I did take the summer off and have time with him. But when September rolled back in, my nursing student family, because that's what I call them, they're not friends, they are family. Those are my sisters. They would watch him while I was in class or while I was in clinicals, and his father was there. But when you young, things happen a certain way, and we just wasn't in a good routine of stability for him. But who I did have stability from were all of my nursing friends at Hampton University. Those were my girls. Those was my family, and we made it happen. My son was the community baby, and everybody watched him, and and I made it through. And it was hard. Nursing school is hard. Blood, sweat, and tears. And to know that sometimes you want to give up, but giving up is not an option. Because now it's not just about you. Now you have this little baby that you have to care for, and this little baby is your responsibility. So different situation, different times. So I was fortunate to have that family in college that could support me. And then my sister, she moved up here to be with me to help, and she lived like 15 minutes away, and she was one of the people in that rotation. But remember, she was still a single mom herself. So being that she was still a single mom, she still was doing the whole like rotating thing, even though my nephew was a little bit older. But I say this to say how important that the times are changing, that you got to learn from what you see and then just try to do something a little bit different. So I guess my next question would be for you. If you could do something different, what would it be?
I mean, if I could do it over again, I wouldn't have a child when I was 20.
But besides that, even if you had, since you had them at 20, I don't mean that. I mean more of because the long gap in school. Do you think maybe you could have went back earlier? Do you think maybe you could have tried to swing it from being, but your college was too far, right?
I mean, it was, I probably I could have went back early, especially, after I got my bachelor's degree. It took me a while before I even went back to get my master's degree. But I was working, and I was making really good money. So it was like, hey.
Okay, well, tell us what you do.
Well, right now, I am a licensed professional counselor and a licensed substance abuse treatment practitioner. And I own a mental health agency. Well, I co-own a mental health agency. So that is what I do now. But it took me a while to get to this point. I had to get my master's degree, then I had to do 2 years of supervision, then take the licensure exam, and I am where I am now.
Why did you choose that profession?
I actually wanted to be an attorney. I always wanted to be an attorney, and until I was in my undergraduate internship, and I worked with an organization called DART, the Drug Abatement Response Team, in which they raided the houses of suspected drug dealers. I was there with them, not raiding it, but in the area, and I seen a lot of children being ripped from their parents. They were, CPS, if kids were there, they were, CPS would come and take the kids because the parents were getting arrested. And, a lot of kids were screaming and crying, they want their parents. And I just looked at these kids like this is going to be a lasting effect on them. And they're going to need somebody to help them get through this.
Right.
I really want to be an attorney to fight for the people, the underdogs, the people who weren't, the people like the kids, they didn't have nobody to talk to. So now as adults, they do things, that they wind up in trouble. So I figured if I could get the kids and help the kids before they got to that point, that would be beneficial.
So you basically wanted to be an attorney, to be an advocate for these kids so they wouldn't get lost in the system.
Absolutely.
And then they would get the help that they needed, right? Because you saw the trauma happen to them.
Right.
So instead, now, are you able to counsel kids like this?
Every day. Yeah, we counsel kids. We do intensive in-home.
Which is what?
It's counseling in the home.
Oh, in the home, okay.
There's also ABA, which is also another form of counseling. They do, well, now because of COVID, everything is done in the home.
Right, so tell me about COVID. That's what I was getting to next. So tell me about what's the changes during COVID now?
Well, during COVID, you're either going to have, you still have some people going into the home, or a lot of it is telehealth. So you do a lot of it over Zoom or Doxy, which is another platform like Zoom, where we just do the sessions from home. But we're always available for crisis intervention if needed as well.
Okay. And how do you cope with the things that you learn from your clients, that you have to counsel them on? How do you not take it home with you, or how do you de-stress from it?
Well, self-care is a good one. Either going to get a massage, or taking a walk, just trying to not stay in that moment. Also, I actually see a therapist from time to time too, when things get to be too much, because you're dealing with everybody else's problems, and the things that's going on with you really don't get addressed. So I do go see a therapist from time to time, just to de-stress and let them know what's going on with me, and let them help me.
And mental health is so important, and a lot of people don't understand that. So in our culture, in our community, in the African American community, and even in like Hispanic communities, nobody goes and gets help. We will say that is not for us to do. We're not sitting on nobody's couch. Nobody is playing in our head. Like when I tell you all of the things that we hear, it's like, oh no, we just don't do that. That's not for us. But I want to tell you, it is for us. And for the people who are telling you that it's not for us, that's not the people to listen to. It's all about your mindset and your mental health. You can move away from that lack mentality. You can move away from making the wrong decisions and repeating a cycle. Some people have not been taught how to manage their anger. Some people haven't been taught how to come out of abuse. People have not been taught how to repeat the abuse. And some people don't even know that the abuse is allowed to not go on anymore. There's just so many things on so many levels. A lot of people don't know why they do the things that they do. And when you have a counselor, you can get those things revealed through multiple sessions. And that's what it's all about. You found the root of the problem, and then you can work at it. You can't, sometimes, all the time, if you don't know something, you can't get better at it. Like, you can't progress. And that's what mental health is. And if you have a mental health counselor already telling you that they already get counseling to help distress, then even the professionals have to de-stress from stuff. And what I want to leave you with is, life is going to happen to you. Like, it's going to happen. No one is going to be exempt from feeling pain, from feeling sadness. But it's our responsibility to know how to recognize, to get help. And it might not start off with a counselor. It might start off with a friend. It might start off, but you gotta get through these things. So I want to thank my sister, Dr. Rochelle Henderson Clark, for joining me today and sitting and having this conversation on A Talk with Unstoppable Nicole, because it's important that we help the next person. We pay it forward. So I'm going to leave you with my book. It's called Take It Back, Your Strength, Your Mindset, Your Finances. And it is on my website at unstoppablenicole.com. And it's also on Amazon. And it is a #1 bestseller. And what I would tell you, if you are watching this and you share this and you go on to my website and fill out the Stay in the Know or contact me, I am drawing up winners, and even if you go and you like my YouTube page at Unstoppable Nicole, and if you go to my IG page and like my page today, I am going to DM you and mail you a personal copy of the book. And then if you already have the book, all you have to do is still participate, and then I will mail one of your family, your loved ones, a copy of the book. The book is about perseverance. It's so important that we find the root of whatever we have going on. And my sister didn't mention, but we grew up in the projects of New York City. So we not trying to say, oh, we always had it together, and we not trying to say that we don't still go through things. But the difference is we didn't give up. Whether the timing was off or whatever, we didn't give up. And then she's a doctor now and counseling people because we care. And for Unstoppable Nicole LLC, I counsel single moms. And that's because we care. We have passion and purpose for something that we've been through, that we were able to get through. Now we want to impart that on you. So if you know a single mom that needs to hear this video, then go ahead and tag them in this video. Put their name in it, first and last name, and that will enter them into the drawing too. I want to thank you guys again. This is Dr. Rochelle Henderson Clark, and we just thank her for joining us today and being transparent and being vulnerable to hopefully pay it forward and help someone else. Everyone be blessed.